This is the magicwordpodcast.com.
Today is day 4 of this convention. Is this 4 or 5? No, 5. This is day 5. There's only one more day to go. In fact, we just finished the close-up competition here this morning. I say this morning, it's right. It started at 9 o'clock and actually got out a little bit early. Got out a little bit before 1 o'clock here today, which gives us a little bit of a chance then, actually, for Mark and I to give you a recap of what happened in the close-up contest this morning so we can grab some lunch, and then we'll go to the 2 o'clock stage competition, and this will be the last day of the stage competition. Then tomorrow morning will be the awards presentation. But right now, Mark, good morning.
Good morning,
Did you get a little bit of sleep last night?
Too little.
Boy, did I,
yeah.
too. Whew.
Yeah, but it was a good sleep finally. So yeah.
And a good competition they had then this morning.
Yeah, it was our last day of close-up. We opened with a wonderful opening act and got everybody up. Omini and Nico did a COVID-themed act. So you're thinking, oh, God, what's going on? No, it was great. The one guy's in a suit, the other one's in a bathrobe, and apparently he's got COVID. The other one's reading a newspaper that says FISM COVID.
FISM News.
FISM News, yeah. It's
new virus.
New virus.
Yeah.
And it's production. Guy pulls a green sponge ball out of his nose, and apparently the green sponge balls are the viruses.
Right.
And it's just like repeat of, transpositions and productions of these viruses, and then interspersed with productions of very long swabs out of their nose,
right.
The COVID testing kits, they're taking a COVID test and it changes color, finally, and there's steam coming off their heads like they got a fever, and finally ends up with the other guy's, his suit changes to a robe because he's got COVID too.
Yeah.
Very funny routine, very clever, and a great opener to the day.
That would have played well also on Zoom during COVID.
Would have been great. And we don't want to bring that back.
No,
so
sir.
Let's
Not
just
in anyone's lifetime ever.
Let's just leave it here.
Enough of that.
Followed by Piero Venezia. This is an act I'd seen before and was so glad to see it again. I think he did it at Magic Live. And basically there's a sewing machine on a table, and he's got needles stuck into his jacket, and he does the needle swallowing. But then he puts a bunch of needles in a glass, a wine glass, pours the wine in, spits the cork out from the wine bottle, drinks down all the needles. Then he has a cigarette that instead of lighting it, he eats it. He lights a match, eats the lit match. And then has a bunch of thread, and he eats the thread?
No. He then picked up the cork and put in and also swallowed the cork.
Oh, right. He swallows the cork. Yes. And then he takes the thread, swallows the thread, and he brings out all the needles. And there's a lot of them. There's a lot of needles. And then reaches into his mouth, takes out a lit match, the cork, and the cigarette, lights the cigarette, and that's the end of the act.
Yeah, I remember seeing that at Magic Live, too. That was just an amazing act the first time I saw it. Still amazing today.
Fantastic. Well-themed routine. Probably one of the better needle routines you'll see. Followed by Tino Platz. Had not heard of this gentleman before, and what a great act. He talks about keeping memories in a marmalade jar, and he's got an empty jar with a cap on it. And a deck of cards appears in this empty jar, and that looked great.
No, a card, a signed
card. No.
Sorry,
First, he begins with the deck appearing in the jar.
That's right. Yes,
And then he has a card selected. He does a bunch of things with the select card, has it initialed, he initials one corner, spectator initials the other corner. He tears off the one corner, the corner vanishes. He does a triumph, which restores little by little. He restores the color, then the suit selected, and then it becomes the entire run of that suit, except for the initial card. With the corner gone, and then the card vanishes, and smoke appears in this bottle.
More than that, the volunteer, Steve Freeberg, was holding it in the palm of his hand, so it wasn't on the table or anyone else's hand.
Yeah.
And he was holding the jar.
The jar, a clear jar.
Right, and then smoke starts appearing. And I'm thinking, no.
And I was thinking the same thing. I'm going to crap myself with that card back.
Exactly what I
and
thought.
Sure enough, that card appears minus the corner, and it matches perfectly. And he puts the card back in the bottle and gives him the jar to keep. And Steve said he's not opening that jar ever again.
That's what he said, because when he started to begin with the trick, he was saying you can keep memories in a jar. And this was a memory that I had so many years ago, and you remember certain memories, or you remember something that brings back a memory, rather. And so this is now going to be a memory for you. And that's what, Steve said. I'm never going to open this. This will be a memory.
Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. He was followed by Jun Hyung Han.
Oh, by the way, if you want to see a picture of that, if you go to themagicwordpodcast.com, I took a photo of Steve and that card in the jar, so you can actually see what that looks like.
Yeah. Everybody's going home with souvenirs. We like this. Jin Hyung Hun. He starts with a flower that's wrapped in some plastic wrap of some sort of cellophane or something.
Yeah.
Piece of cellophane. He puts the flower in a little vase. And these pieces of plastic wrap keep changing. He crumbles them up and they change to a solid, clear ball. And then back to the plastic wrap. But his hands are clean the entire time. And this is an entire act of visible changes of this plastic wrap to balls to a glass. Mm-hmm. The glass becomes, a candle appears in it, like a votive glass, and he lights that. A vase. A glass vase, and he ends up with this plastic changing to the flower in the real vase disintegrates, it falls apart, and then the vase itself falls apart in his hands, and so he changed a piece of this plastic wrap to a clear glass vase, and then a clear glass flower, which then holds up to the light, and the light becomes red, and now the flower becomes red. It's really pretty.
It's
really
a pretty
routine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very unusual, very poetic. Let's see. Oh, he was followed by Jonio from Japan with the weird beard.
Oh, yes.
We've seen this before,
yeah.
And boy, it just keeps getting better. This is a guy on stage, no props, no table, no nothing. It's just him. And
him and his beard.
And he starts producing coins from his beard. And you think,
not like a Santa Claus beard. It wasn't a long beard.
No. It was short crop beard.
Right.
But when he pulls them from his beard, I mean, his hands are open. And it looks like the coins are really coming from the beard. It looks great. And then he starts, and he produces a little shot glass of orange juice, which he downs and puts in his pocket. And then he does some more coins in another glass, an empty glass. And he holds it to the side when he pulls out a second glass. And then you look back, and now the glass in the other hand, the empty glass is now filled with orange juice.
Yeah.
And he did that like 3 times.
Yeah.
And then he starts producing more coins, and then jumbo coins, and then he super jumbo coins.
Big as his head.
That's like
Bigger
a trash can lid. I mean, it's just incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible routine. Got a great hand. He's so funny, but so talented. Just really good. Followed by Augusto Amen. This was a blindfolded card act. When I say blindfold, I don't mean like a cloth blindfold. I mean gaffer's tape. Wrapped around his head, but then he gets somebody up to hold his hands.
4-inch gaffer's tape.
Yeah, big wide stuff, and he has somebody stand behind him and then gaff tapes the guy's hands to his face. Very funny idea. And he produces 4 aces, but then he has a card selected, signed, and he does basically an everywhere and nowhere. This card just keeps appearing everywhere, and then the card vanishes. Or sorry, it doesn't vanish. It turns blank. Mm-hmm. And when he pulls off the gaffer's tape from his face, the imprint of the card is on the inside of the gaffer tape.
The imprint of the card?
Yeah, the imprint of the card.
That was the card.
Well, no, I think it was the imprint only because...
I took a picture of it.
Was it? Because it looked like the card turned blank on the table, and then the image of the card was on the tape. But it was actually the card on the tape.
It was the card on the tape.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, go to the website and you'll take a look at this picture that I've got. Actually, what Betty had was the volunteer.
Right.
And when they pulled that off, so she had signed that. And so, Gene was one, so he was holding the tape. So I got a picture of that card that you can see, that was actually stuck to the tape inside of his mask.
Cool. That's cool.
Makes it even better, doesn't it?
I'm not sure.
Okay, I'm going to pause this for just a second, pull up this picture. Just a second.
You showed me that.
All right, we have confirmed. That is the signed card.
That is indeed the signed card stuck to the inside
of the tape.
He was followed by Martin DeCecco, who did, again, an interesting theme act. He was supposed to be a pickpocket on the street stealing people's stuff. First, he produces an iPhone, and then he produces a pair of ear pods and puts those in his ears, and he's listening to music. And then he starts producing coins as if he's taking them from people's pockets. And lots of coins, and he eventually produces like a little money bag and puts coins in the money bag, and then he goes to the casino. At the casino, he keeps winning, so he keeps producing more coins because those are his winnings. And then eventually he leaves the casino, and at one point in the casino, a row of coins appears on the table. Looked really, really good. But it's just multiple coin productions. That's basically the act.
I thought at the end, whenever he was going back on the subway, someone was going to rob him because he was the pickpocket.
Right.
I thought, he would look in the bag and, hey, my money's all gone. Somebody got it.
But he saw somebody had a sign, I want dollars, and he turns a coin to a dollar bill and puts it in.
Yeah, so he gives somebody $1.
Exactly.
Yeah, because he was in that same situation before.
Exactly. He was followed by Eric Chen, former Grand Prix champion.
Grand Prix champ.
Yep. Doing a brand new act, something totally different.
Completely.
Yep. Comes on as an old man, drinks some liquid, and becomes young. And he starts doing...
And he had like a face, basically, that was some sort of a mask that you would buy through Temu or something, I guess.
Yeah, and he didn't change. He took the mask off, and he was young. He had like Skittles or M&Ms that changed to a mini cube, and then more Skittles, and it becomes a big cube, and then he just starts doing productions of cubes. It's like multiplying cubes.
Right.
And then he starts with the sponge balls, and sponge balls appear in a glass, vanish, reappear in the glass. Did that multiple times. Nice productions there. Good routinning. And eventually just showers of sponge balls. And he ends up producing this solid little figure that looked kind of like a Lego something or other, and has it on the table and holds up this cloth and drops it. And now the table is engulfed with what appears to be Legoland. It is just...
Looks like Cinderella Castle.
Exactly. Yeah. Absolutely huge. Fills this entire table. And then he becomes the old man again. This is not Grand Prix.
No.
It was very clever, but it looked like, kind of eye candy.
It was a convention act.
Yeah.
It was a convention contest act.
Yeah. He was followed by Robin DeVille. This is a great act we've seen before, and it's gotten better. Dr. Blue and Mr. Red. It's like a Jekyll and Hyde act where he's got this very, very sedate, very serious
Speaking
character.
of which, by the way, because they did a red and blue thing, I want to go back just a second for Eric Chen. Did you notice also that he had a shirt that was red and blue, and he had that tape, and it kind of harkened back to his Grand Prix show, where he put the tape in the middle of the table, and
then just he pulls the tape off and just throws it aside.
Yeah, it's if I'm done with that.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is what I'm doing now. I just wanted to point that out then too. I thought that was kind of a neat callback.
No, that was good. That was good.
So yes,
so Robin's act, Dr. Blue and Mr. Red, I wrote great personalities. Because these are two distinct personalities. One very sedate,
scientist, kind of a nerdy guy.
Yep, nerdy guy. And then Mr. Red is this flamboyant Spaniard who is flirting with his assistant, and it just big over-the-top presentations. It's a card act. It's multiple color changes, both of the cards and the costumes. And the cards, when they change colors, boy, they change colors. Until finally, and he's got a bit with a disc, a chip that's a blue chip that she writes the name of her selected card on. Mr. Red puts his red sticker on it, and then later it becomes clear, and now the cards become clear.
Yeah,
it's a great act. Again, it's just great presentation and so much fun, and he got a great reception. He was followed by Hernan Macaño from Argentina. Did primarily coins. He had these Chinese coins that he shows and puts them in his hand, and they change to $50, which he uses for a coins through table, which was extremely well done, but I thought a tad pedestrian for FISM. And then he does his Chimera box, which he did on Folis and Fold Penn and Teller, and boy, this is a great coin box routine. It is basically, he calls it his portable hole. It's not even a box. There's no lid. It acts like a Boston box, only it's a box with a hole in the bottom, so there's no way you could secrete a coin there. And yet, He kind of does. It's an amazing method. He sells this. I mean, I don't think he was going in there to win. I think he was going in there to pitch the product.
To demo it.
Yep. And boy, I'm betting he's going to sell a bunch of them because it's really good. It's really good. He was followed by Zaza, who did another Rubik Cube act. This one, he has a cube and he has cards with faces of the cubes printed on them. He has one selected, signed, and the selected card, the color of that selection, the cube, all sides become that color fully.
Right.
So the cube itself changes.
All solid color.
Yeah, and it's okay.
Yeah,
it's okay. He was followed by Francesco Fontarelli, nice young man who does a very lovely act where he starts with a deck of cards on the table with a ball and vase on top of it. Mm-hmm. And he calls attention and says this is the first trick he learned, and he shows the ball and the vase. He puts it aside, and he takes the deck of cards and says, this became what my love was in magic after I started, was card magic. And he has a card selected, signed, put back in the pack, and he does a full deck triumph. But again, it's a triumph where it restores, and then the suit of the selected card appears reversed in the pack. And then the whole deck restores again. Then he brings out a second deck. He hands the first deck to a number of people to shuffle. He hands out to 4 different people, just shuffle these cards. And then borrows another pack, and he does a full deck coincidence. Which looked really clean, looked really, really good. And he finishes with opening the ball and vase, and there's a signed card folded in there, which he had me take out, open up, and it was the signed card, and it was folded real tiny.
I will tell you also, whenever that they gave us the deck, I was there standing there with you, one of the volunteers, and so they handed us the deck to shuffle and little parts of the deck, packets of trick, and then finally handed the whole deck to me, and I thoroughly shuffled that deck. And I did not see any kind of a switch whatsoever. And then when that deck coincidence happened, my mouth just dropped completely.
You knew there had to be a deck switch somewhere, but it was invisible. It was really
I was standing
well
over his right shoulder, looking straight down.
And I was sitting immediately to his left. So, it looked really good. He was followed by Yuriv Zahariev from, I believe, Bulgaria. His act was Matrix, done with colored Chinese coins.
Yeah.
And, kind of to me, it's like the linking rings. My favorite quote about the linking rings, which is one of my favorite tricks, but the late Rick Johnson once said, this should be called the Polish linking rings because who else but a Polak would use 2 rings to prove that he could link 8? Obviously, not a politically correct joke now, but
correct at the time, maybe.
At the time, it was okay to say that. Yeah. But it kind of drives home the fact to me. If you can make 4 coins, just travel from one corner to another, why do you have to do it 37 times?
Got the point.
And he did it first bare hands. The migrating coins, because again, we can't use that politically incorrect phrase. And then does it with cards, and he does it over and over and over and over, and then the jumbo coins, colored coins. I didn't think we particularly needed to see that act, but hey. Anyway, we was followed by Michael Blumke, who probably did the funniest act of the day. It is cups and balls, but instead of using his hands, he has these little robot hands, those little gripper hands, and the entire act is done with these robot gripper hands. And this is an act that is not only clever, but filled with so many gags that it's incredible. It's a well-designed act.
He doesn't miss a one.
No, and boy, every time you see him do the act, it just gets better, and he changes it. I mean, he's really improving, and he's still working on it. There's still, I'd worked with him while he was, between the competitions, and my gosh, he's got a lot of new stuff planned, and it's going to get even better, but just so funny.
Brought the house to their feet.
Yep, absolutely. Here was followed by Mario Bove, Italian fellow who did a card act. First he produces the 4 aces, then he produces the 4 kings. And then with the rest of the deck, he does Call to the Colors, where it's a Bill Simon effect, where you're dealing the cards red, black, red, black, red, black, and then you deal 2 red, 2 black, 2 red, 2 black, and then 3 red, 3 black, and then you can ask the audience to call out what they want. He was even doing 5s, doing them by 5s. And then he takes the deck, reassembles it, and now produces the cards, all the black suit, in order from ace to king, and then the rest of the deck from ace to king by suit. And then he turns the cards over, and it's become a rainbow deck. Which, to me, says I switched the deck to call the colors.
Yes.
So you're basically calling attention to the fact that here's the method, and I just thought it was kind of stupid.
Okay.
That's just me. I love a color-changing deck, but not under those conditions. He was followed by Gotaishi from Japan, who did his Buddhist act, where he's supposed to be a Buddhist monk, and he's got this little bell on his stand, and he rings it and covers it with a cup and lifts it up, and that's changed to orange juice, which he says he's not supposed to drink, but it's a special occasion, so he drinks it down. And then does a really lovely cups and balls routine. He's released a number of tutorials online on his cups and balls work. He's got some really nice stuff. 2-cup routine, and then the balls change to sponge balls, but there's so many surprises along the way. And he ends with, again, producing the little glass of orange juice, covering it up, and it becomes the bell. Just a nice full circle finish, so lots of fun. Followed by Matthew Lamotte, who does this. He's just so classy. He comes out with a tray of petit fours, puts it down, which also has a set of cups on it, and he does a beautiful 2-cup routine with a wand and a case, and you think he's finished. He does the lemon, and you think he's done, but then he comes back and opens the case again, and the wand has changed to first his crimson cravat disappears, and it comes out of the cup. So you think that's the finish. And he closes the case, does a callback, opens the case, and now the wand has changed to a large knife. And then the cups have changed to cake. So he calls attention to the fact he produced a cupcake, and now he's got cake cups.
Yeah. And
he cuts these cups apart, and they're cake. And boy, that's a killer finish the first time you see that.
I think he did that at Fecker's, didn't he? That's where I saw that first, and it just killed me. And when I was watching for it this time, but still, it's just so brilliant, so good and clever,
so well planned out, so well executed. It's a lovely act. I'm hoping he's in there somewhere on the awards. He was followed by Perry Raffert, who basically did Twilight on steroids. This is the trick with the mirror that Paul Harris came up with many years ago. Paul Harris and Thierry Casal, to be fair. It was a dual invention. But he starts off doing it with coins, as in the original, but then the purse also splits, and then he does it with cards, and the cards not only split, but become weird cards depending on where he puts the mirror.
Right.
And then his glasses split, and then his watch splits, and then he's got a bill, and the bill splits. And then he accidentally drops the mirror on the floor, and it breaks. And everything that he's multiplied disappears.
Now back to singles.
So, the second watch is gone, the other glasses are gone, the other bill is gone. It was a very clever act. Really nicely done. And to close out the morning, Manuel Muerte, our friend from the Flicking Fingers. Manuel is a former FISM winner and did a completely new act. Not new, I'm sure he's been doing it for decades, but new to FISM. And it was a comedy act, a parlor competition with his raccoon routine. But again, Manuel is just such a crazy character, and he had so many gags built into this thing. It was a selected card routine, sign selection.
He was going to be kind of a game show host, kind of a thing. I thought he had Johnny Carson music playing.
He did, when he came on. A giant shoehorn that disappears and appears as his tie. Sign selected card that the raccoon finds with his tail. Funny act, and very commercial.
Yeah.
Super commercial. not necessarily a competition act, but boy, what a well-planned act.
It's a great convention act, for those who are looking for somebody different. He is amazing.
And Manuel is great at a convention. Does a fantastic lecture, and just a talented guy.
So that wrapped up the close-up competition for this morning, and now we're going to grab a sandwich and going to go into... we might try something a little bit different, possibly. We're going to see if there's too much cacophony going on in the dealer's room, and if so, we might retire then to the general room where they're going to be having the stage contest, but they're showing on the monitors the stage contest, so we can actually sit and talk between the acts to kind of give you a real-time update recap on what's happening on all that while we're having a sandwich and a soda. So, thank you, Mark, and we'll talk again here in a moment.
Okay.
So the Magic Word Podcast, that was Marc DeSouza, Scotty out. There, as I said, been a lot of stuff going on opposite of the contest, and it's difficult. Well, it's impossible. You can only see one or the other. It's depending upon whatever interests you. And several people, including myself, are interested in other things, but I want to deliver to you, the listener, the content that comes from the competition, because we're here at the World Championship, and I think that's what this is all about, is a championship. So I know people want to hear about the contest and what makes them so great. But every once in a while, I've been running into a lot of friends, and oh my gosh, the people we've been seeing, and I finally got a chance here to in the dealer's room to chat with my buddy David Kaye. Silly Billy. Hello, David. How are you?
Hello, Scott. Nice to see you, as always. Running around the world, going to magic conventions.
And you are performing and lecturing here, and you've already done that this morning and yesterday. So
I had a workshop on Tuesday, and this morning, Friday, I had my lecture.
Okay.
And it was very well attended, which makes me very happy. It's very rare for FISM to program children's magic programming. It almost never happens. But this year, there's two children's magic lecturers, me and a woman from Italy named Maga Gaia. And really am happy that people showed up, because we have to show the organizers and future organizers that kids' magic is worthy of being included.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I don't know about in Europe or Asia and other countries, but outside of the U.S., but the U.S., that is a prime business, it seems like.
In fact, I opened the lecture by saying that, and I'm pretty sure this is true, that there are more full-time professional children's magicians than there are full-time professional close-up magicians. I think every town has more kid show people, maybe one or two close-up guys, depending on the size of your city.
Now, I'd gone before I arrived here. As I told you, I went to Churrasco and saw the Magic Museum of Don Silvio.
Yes.
And you said you had been there before, and you're going afterwards. You're going to be performing, actually, for your kids.
Yes.
Tell me about how that
It's the best, honestly. I do love performing magic for children from other countries who maybe don't speak English, which is usually the case. So I visited the museum a few years ago when Walter Rolfo hired me for his master's in San Vincent, which is up in the Alps. And now and Torino is only 45 minutes away from the Museum of Magic, and I think it's Churrasco. I don't know if it's Churrasco. Right.
Close, yeah.
Anyway, it's a beautiful little town. There's 3,000 people, one street, two restaurants, and other than the museum, it's a great way to be in a little tiny Italian town, which is not what most people do. They go to the big cities, the famous cities.
Right, Rome and Florence.
But so last time I did I did like 15 minutes, because his museum is designed for school children to come and learn about magic. And
courtyard.
After they visit the museum, they get a show. He performs for them. And so I'm going to do the same. He has kids coming on Wednesday, and I'm going to do a show. He'll translate a few of the important words. But I'm always fascinated when kids who don't speak English, they grasp the plot of my routines, and they participate.
They yell and scream.
I don't I don't understand what they're saying, but I do know what they're saying because they're saying what the English-speaking kids say at that moment. They all say, open your other hand. So in Italian, that's what they're saying. I know they're saying it. I don't understand.
That's funny.
But it's really one of my favorite things to do is just the universality of children's magic to bring joy and laughter to kids who just don't speak English is incredible for me.
Yeah. And Don Silvio's been doing that all over the world.
Yes.
Apparently, before he decided to stay in one place and open up this museum.
Yeah, no, he also, well, I don't know if he still travels, but he definitely spent a few decades traveling all over the world to, poorer countries, performing magic and entertaining the kids,
I thought it was interesting what you said to me before we got on the air over here about how many books that he has on children's magic, and you're going to go and research that. And I was asking about whether many of the books are in English. You said surprisingly yes.
Yes, he has about a 20,000 book library, and because he's a kid show magician, he has a lot of kid show stuff that I don't have. Primarily, when there's an e-book that comes out, I don't print e-books, but he prints all the books and then binds them and puts them in his library as well.
Okay.
So even though he doesn't read English, he has quite a kid show library, and I'm going to spend a week sitting in the library reading.
Wow.
So, it's going to be really fun.
You're going to have a good time.
Yeah, Italy is the best.
Well, I love Italy.
Yeah.
This is my wife's favorite country. She wanted to come back after we went to Rimini a few years ago for FISM.
Wonderful.
Had such a great time. She said, I do want to go back. And that was, I think, one of her regrets finished before she passed. It's like,
of course.
We were planning on coming back just on a regular trip, not for FISM necessarily, because we didn't know back. Yeah. Anyhow, I love it.
Italy's the best.
It's good food, good people.
Yes,
good,
all of the things. Gelato, pasta, pizza. Are you kidding me?
I've had it all. That's right. The sun shines, not too hot, not too cold. The beauty of the vineyards and the hills and everything is just absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, it's
wonderful.
exactly how I feel about it. And I've been to every FISM since 1991. That was Lausanne. Last night, Mike Caveney said on stage that he has been to everyone since 1976. I can't imagine there are as many people still alive who've been to every FISM since 1976, but he has.
Yeah.
And I love FISMs.
Yeah, my first one, I believe, was in 88.
88?
I believe it was in Den Haag.
Yes.
And I thought, man, I'm coming back. I did not go to Lausanne, and I don't remember why. But I haven't missed many or any since then.
Yeah, it's the best.
Great.
There's a core group of people in the world who go to every FISM from different countries.
True.
So the first 1,000 tickets is easy for FISMs to sell.
Yeah.
Because there are FISM groupies. And we see, like Mike said last night as well, we see
every
each
3
other
years,
at FISMs. And it's true, you don't see them for 3 years, but it's always wonderful to see people still working, still participating. So it's the craziest thing, and I love FISMs.
Yeah, and for those who haven't come, if you did go to the one in Quebec, you got a taste of that, and you should have been coming to this one. The idea was to whet people's appetite of what FISM quality acts were like, and this is a major convention where if you were to go to any magic convention and pay to see the gala shows where you see 3 or 4 great acts, here you've got 29 of them in the close-up competition, another 25 or something in the stage per day, plus the galas in the evening.
Yes.
And each of the contests are not like contest shows that people have normally see, particularly in the U.S., in conventions. The quality, there's David Kaye's picture. It was just...
Oh, that's nice. My picture was on the thing.
That's right.
At 4 o'clock, advertising my 10:30 lecture.
Yeah, that's right.
So I don't mind.
Too late.
I'm sure you talked about this already, but that first show, the first night, with all the Grand Prix winners, I can't imagine a better one-off magic show ever.
You're not going to see many, if any, shows that are going to be every act got a standing ovation.
Oh, yeah. Every act is a closer.
Right.
I mean, they're Grand Prix winners. They were. And you know what else was nice about it? It was like going back in time and for me to relive all the FISMs that have, in the last 20 years, these were the people who won them. And so it's almost very nostalgic just to see Yu Ho Jin again and whatever, all the others.
Yeah.
It was a really, really fantastic.
Well, it's a great convention, a lot of fun. We've had good weather. There really hasn't been any rain. Well, we had rain on Sunday when we had the street performers doing the contest. But the white party was fun. Everything that they do here, it's just over the top.
Well, you know, Walter Rolfo is a great producer, and he knows how to create memorable events. And asking everyone to wear white almost feels like an imposition, but when it happens, it's a beautiful experience.
It is.
Yeah.
And it was.
Yeah.
And everything else. Yep, and we still got another day and a half to go. I believe it's Friday.
I know, and tomorrow we see the winners. This is going to be so exciting. But the end of the convention is what everything has been building towards.
That's right. David Stone, good to see him. Plek Ectos right there.
Plek Ectos.
That's right. Well, they're getting ready to do another show.
Another act in the contest.
That's right. David, as always,
great to see you, Scott. Happy to be part of your thing. Congratulations. Continued success. Bearing down on 1,000 episodes.
That's right. And we'll see if tomorrow, fingers crossed, that I get an award.
Oh, yeah, podcast.
That's right.
I hope so. Yeah. I voted for you. You voted for you. we voted. You helped me vote for you at the collectors conference. Yes. Remember? That was funny.
So for the Magic Word Podcast, that was David, Silly Billy Kaye, Scotty out. Well, like we said, we're going to try this over here and see how this goes. And so far, I think the sound is not too bad in the background.
No, it sounds good.
Yeah. And we got a good view, but a big screen monitor in front of us over here.
Yep, and we're getting good audio feed off the board, so we're hearing everything but the applause.
That's true. We just got to depend upon good camera work, lighting, and everything, because we're just going to be seeing from one camera as opposed to.
Yep, but where we sit anyway, you're watching the screen, so
that's pretty much true as well.
Yeah.
So start off with Alex Ramon from the USA.
Absolutely.
USA. So.
Yeah, and doing the routine that he does in his regular show with MJ. He produces MJ from the chair. Nice flash production of a hot blonde assistant. It's a very funny line. And then he does the balance routine where he builds this contraption out of a dog food, bag of dog food, and a couple of boards and a broom and MJ on a chair that's tipped back on its legs, and it just, as he's building it, just gets more impossible looking as far as balance is concerned until he finally takes that broom away, and it's like, how's this happening? It's just incredible.
Right. Yeah, he'd also done that on Penn and Teller Foolish.
Exactly. And then MJ jumps off, and the whole thing falls apart. So it's pretty cool. It's cool.
I would imagine it was inspired by Balance.
Exactly. Yeah, I believe that's where it kind of came from.
Yeah, the Joshua J. had out.
Yep.
And that's a hard trick to convey to an audience, to sell.
Yeah. And yet he does this in his regular show in Reno.
Night
constantly.
After night.
Yeah. So, it's a nice look. It's not a great opener. It's not a great close. It's a great middle trip.
The disadvantage here is we do not get to see the audience reactions as to whether they got standing ovations or not.
Correct. Yeah. But
so we're not going to be reporting on that because we don't know.
Yep, but Alex was one of 3 competitors chosen in the FISM NA competition. So.
The other 2 we've already seen. Today
Blumke.
we've just saw Michael Blumke in close up and Blaze Sarah.
Blaze Sarah we saw the day before, and both of them did very, very well.
They did.
So, yep.
So, anyhow, we will report on the next one here shortly. That first one's down. So the next act up was David Ben Magic, and it appeared that there are a couple of look like wells to me, kind of brick.
Yeah, they look like stone walls that he was working in front of.
One of them looked like a bare tree out of it, and that he was picking up flowers or petals from one well and depositing it on the tree branches of the other.
Yeah, I think there was like productions of some bills in there. The whole thing was so dark that you really couldn't see what was going on. Very tough to watch the act. He was producing some flowers during it, and then he ended up producing a giant rose in a vase.
Yeah, he had some sort of a curtain or something, the unfurled banner, the unfurled, basically.
Yep.
And then we dropped that, then that was the finale.
Yep. And it's an also-ran.
Yep. So, there you go. That was the second act. Next up was Merville. And it's kind of like Pavarotti meets Mad Max.
So it's a post-apocalyptic setting. He's got a motorcycle as his main prop with a gas pump next to it. And he's trying to pump gas in, but it's just dust coming out. Mm-hmm. And he does kind of like almost like a salt pour with dust. And then he picks up, he produces from a cloth a pigeon.
Big pigeon.
Big pigeon, yeah, not a dove,
Not a dove.
big pigeon.
Yeah.
And the pigeon flies to, and lands on the handlebars. He's got a couple of brass pots, and he's pouring dust out of them, and he puts them together, and he produces water. So he drinks some of the water and pours the water into the back of the motorcycle, and a tree grows out of it. Mm-hmm. And then he grabs around it, and he gets handfuls of what are supposed to be leaves, I assume, like green confetti. And from that, coming down, he produces another pigeon barehanded.
By the way, he is wearing a leather jacket, and he's got these chains that are draped over his shoulder.
Yeah,
Again,
like
kind of a Mad Max-ish.
Exactly. It's that kind of look. Certainly is not a set of tails. And everything was just themed really well with this whole thing, this Mad Maxy kind of thing. He ended up producing like 5 pigeons, and then at the end does this bare hand production of 3 big pigeons. It was pretty shocking. Also, at one point, the gas pump starts sprouting a tree, and the thing falls apart, and that tree, I don't know, looked like it grew like 15
feet or so.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, again, these are the acts you're only going to see at FISM.
That's true. That's a very unique act, and again, throughout the whole time, most of the time, he was singing.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
Had a great voice. That's what I said about Pavarotti. He had a great tenor voice.
Yeah. So he was singing in French, so we didn't understand the storyline there, but boy, great voice. So he's got a career in music if this magic thing doesn't work out.
Yeah, it's true. No, it seemed like Les Miserables or something because of the emotion that he was putting into it. Like, I'm having to live in this world, and I'm trying to find places to eat and to drink, and just keep going from one place to the next. I need some gas for my motorcycle
and places to find my pigeons.
That's right. That's true.
Maybe they were dinner.
That's kind of what I was thinking as he's producing it. It's kind of like, I got a little something to drink, some water now, with one of these pigeons, because they were big as chickens. They were pretty good size.
Yeah.
So, this is a little bit different, and it looked like, again, we cannot see the audience, but it appeared that he got a standing ovation, because I could hear a little bit of the audience and a few heads popping up there.
Yep. They were cheering long and hard.
That was Merville, and that was a great show. Okay, we'll see who's up next. Next up from Argentina was Larry.
Larry, who's been to the States a lot over the last several years. He's a dealer. Yeah, I've seen him perform as a dealer. Very good ideas. He's got some great ideas. This was a fairly complex act. There were a lot of predictions made, predictions of words, of locations, and the selection processes looked all very fair. Sounded like he got a great ovation. It was a nice visual act because he was using some very large props that had pictures on it and reversed those pictures.
Large enough for people in the back of the auditorium to see them.
Exactly. And they reversed at the end to make 2 more predictions. So, it was a good mental act.
I like that idea of selecting something in which you had the volunteer to just throw up the piece of paper and try and catch one in midair.
Exactly, and he showed some of them so fair and tossed them away, and then gives them the rest of the pack to throw in the air.
Sure, so.
I'm not going to talk about methodology here, but it's just a very clever idea and something to think about.
Yeah, just giving some mentalists some ideas out there. So, in the meantime, a lot of people walk by that we've been chatting with that just saw Jonathan Pendragon. There goes Arturo Brachetti. Just had a little conversation with Roberto Giobbi. And just wish we had time to actually sit and we could kind of sit here and as people go by, Mark, we could just talk to people.
We've got business to do. We've got to
deliver
broadcast on a
content
competition.
That's right. There'll be more here shortly. The next act was Antioch and Zagora. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay,
Antioch and Zagora.
Have you seen them before?
Never seen them before. Comedy division appears to be middle-aged older couple doing like a typical flash comedy.
Kind of an Otto Wesley. We just saw Otto Wesley last night.
Well, Otto Wesley was a whole lot funnier.
But he did a lot of pratfalls and comedy, things falling and crashing.
Exactly, and this was that kind of stuff too. It was just hodgepodge of visual stuff that's humorous, not belly laugh stuff, but a humorous act. They had a couple of nice bits with, again, a big growing flower at the end. So.
Yeah, because it was like they were supposed to come together. They're a couple, and he would give her a gift, and it turned out to be like a pot and pan or something for the kitchen, and she got upset and changed it to a heart, and so she liked that. And so again, towards the end, there was that large plant that grew and spelled love.
And they had a lovely table piece that was a replica of the love statue from Philly. Pleasant act, not a showstopper, but it slowed it down a hell of a lot.
Well, it was in the comedy category, and I think properly placed.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
I mean, it wasn't grand illusion or anything by any means or anything.
Not hard.
And there was a talking act also. I'm not sure what language they were speaking.
There was a little bit of talk, not a lot, but it was mainly visual and musical background.
Right. But a good act for FISM. It was okay.
Yeah, an average act for FISM.
So, that was Antioch and Zagora. And next up was Zhao Yujiao.
Zhao Yujiao.
You say it.
Zhao Yujiao, young woman, I assume from China.
Look, I think they said China, I believe, Republic of China, but I couldn't hear over there, so I apologize. But yeah, she came out. She was dressed like in a schoolgirl kind of a outfit, a little short dress.
At an upright piano. That was
an upright piano, like she was sitting down and playing the piano at the beginning.
Yep.
Like she was practicing her notes and stuff.
And then she tears a piece of sheet music off, and then the sheet music next to it kind of visibly crumbles on the piano itself, and the piece she's holding becomes a white ball, and she's doing a lot of manipulation with a single white ball. And it's all syncopated in the music beautifully. Great piano music. And she goes on to an 8-ball multiplication between her fingers. It was very rapid, very nice, very nicely done. And then she switches to white cards.
Yeah, which I thought was a little bit unusual. I thought she would have notes on the cards.
Right.
It would be a natural thing since it was a musical theme.
She did have a bit, though, with the cards changing to a piece of paper that had a note on, and she removes the bottom of that, becomes a ball. So, there's that's just keeping the theme somewhat with that.
Right. And then started producing sheet music, basically.
Exactly. So instead of jumbo cards, she's producing sheet music.
Right, and then manipulating the jumbo cards or the sheet music, basically.
Exactly.
Not between her fingers, but kind of in her hands and doing fans with them and everything.
Exactly, and productions of handfuls of the sheet music, throwing them in the air. And she ends with the production of a cello and bow.
But before that, it had the violin.
Oh, right. Yes, the violin first, and then the cello.
Yeah.
So
she had sheet music that expanded to a large thing, and then when she dropped it, she had the cello.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So it was a fairly impressive act.
It was. At first, I was thinking that the theme of the thing obviously was music, but perhaps that she was practicing, and then she maybe thought that I can find the easy way out. And she was using these manipulation balls and dropping the piano, and then the piano's playing itself like a player piano, saying like, well, this is easy, I can do this. And so maybe that she then later realized, oh, this is more difficult, and then she decided, okay, I'm going to go into playing a violin or a cello. But it's like, no, she had gained mastery, I think, of this. But anyhow, it's kind of what philosophical thing I got out of there.
That's another way of looking at it. Maybe you're giving her too much credit. I don't know, but if that's the case, I mean, it's a very fine idea. Yeah. But all in all, very, very pretty act, very suitable for a young woman,
young lady, and she had good choreography, I thought, throughout, and it was. The stage was dressed appropriately, and it was great.
Absolutely. So another good act.
Another good act, yep. Speaking of another good act, there comes a comedian over there, Artem Shukin. Walking by us over here.
Did a wonderful job.
Yeah, he did a great job there yesterday, and hopefully he might be seeing a place in the Comedy Awards.
Gosh, I hope so.
All right, we got more to come here. We're just getting the surface scratched.
So the next act was Wanabe Ko, young Asian manipulator, doing an act I've never seen, something very unusual. It started out with some petals in his fingers that grew into spring flowers, and we're like, uh-oh, spring flowers.
Yeah, here we are in the middle of summer doing spring.
Yeah. And you figured, oh, no. This is a manipulative act where spring flowers slowly bloom at his fingertips. Singles, doubles, triples. Then there's color changes.
Color changing spring flowers. I've never seen it so beautiful.
This act was slow, exquisite, stylistic, absolutely phenomenal. And then one of the changes, a blue flower changed to a blue card. And then there's productions of blue cards, and then a blue card back to a blue flower. And then there was a shower of spring flowers, and then a shower of cards to match. So this was a very unusual, absolutely beautiful act. I really like this a lot.
And it was quite unique. Again, not seeing a show or an act made completely of spring flowers.
Yep.
The stage was strewn with flowers when he was finished, and he stood in one place, as a lot of the Asian acts do during their manipulation. It had a nice smile occasionally to the audience, but he was really enjoying himself up there. It was really
no props on stage at all. It was just him.
And a pen light, basically, on his face and his hands.
A spotlight, just a single spotlight for the entire act.
Yeah.
Really beautifully done.
Yeah, I think that is a kind of, again, a good act that you're going to see at FISM. And although it can travel, and there's not a lot of cleanup, but there's a lot of folding.
Could be spending hours folding that act.
That's right, for just an 8-minute act. Very exquisite, very good. So that was the 7th act, I think.
Hang on a second, I'll tell you in a sec.
Something like that.
That was number 7. Yes, Wanabe Ko. So the next act, Nick Blaze, who kind of looks like a cross between Lance Burton and Rob Zabrecki. It's got that dark look.
That's right, and David Copperfield wearing black,
Yeah.
Black on black, and he's got a black background, and he's got his one main prop is a tree. So it's kind of like Lance Burton having the lamppost and the sign, and he's
a very different bird act.
Oh no, it wasn't a copy by any means.
No.
It was just reminiscent of that being the sole prop out there.
And there were these red light thingies that looked like, I don't know, like volcanic heat or something.
Right in the bark.
On the tree itself. Well, you saw the beginning of the act. I missed the first minute.
Just was producing a couple of doves, barehanded dove productions, didn't have any scarves or anything like that. And from that standpoint, I guess the white doves on this black suit or a shirt and everything looked fine. And then he had produced one of the doves by reaching to the bark and then suddenly pulling one out of the tree, essentially like that. And then he placed them on the tree limbs. It looked like a tree that had been scorched and burned by lightning strikes on many occasions. Looked like it might have been on the top of a hill or Boot Hill or something, kind of a thing.
Yeah, and then he started taking the birds that he had produced and started kind of throwing them towards lightning or something, and like in a flash of lightning, the birds disintegrated into feathers onto the floor. And he did that twice. So you produced the birds, and then you just disintegrated them.
Right. There was one that was sitting on a bush or on the tree, and you heard this lightning crack, and then the bird was gone.
Yeah.
And then the other two, that had
very visual stuff, very cool. And he ends up at one point, I guess the best part of the act, a bunch of the feathers just start rising from the floor to his hands. Slowly, and that becomes a live bird, and that was a really startling production.
Yeah, you were feeling sorry for the birds because of the way that they had died horribly in a tragic lightning strike, each of them. And then he was on the ground, kind of like hammering the ground. As if he is very sorrowful and sad about this. And then when he stands up, as you say, then the feathers and the confetti start coming back to his hand, and then he produces a dove one after the other.
And then another and another. So, it's a good act, very stylish.
Yeah, I think that was the end of it. It would just produce the 3 birds. They were gone.
He produced that third bird and holds it up in the air, and that was it.
Yeah, so again, I got out of that reincarnation.
Yep,
because the birds just reincarnated back. It's like, they're not gone. They're here, they are. So anyhow, a pretty act.
So now we've got themes of trees of life and reincarnation going on through all these contests.
Yes.
It's a very hopeful situation.
That's a very good way of putting it. There's a lot of hope in this convention. That's true. And next up was Mind to Mind, and as I recall, they're from Dubai, and it was James Harrington and Marina. I have an episode with them. It was number 874, back when they were in Magic, Texas this last year. It was only with James because Marina, he said, was up in the room, had a migraine. Kind of ironic. But anyhow, we just saw them perform, and let me hear your take on that.
Well,
it's fantastic.
I don't think it gets better than that. I think they are probably the best two-person mental act working today. They are amazingly good-looking, presentationally very, very strong, wonderful personalities, and they are fast, and their stuff sounds very natural. I don't think you can ask more than that. I think they just, in 3 minutes, rapid fire ran through the identification of at least 20 different items, including serial numbers on credit cards and bills.
Right. And then there were some things people wrote down on pieces of paper that were thrown into a big lucite box, and they were picking them out, and she was able to tell you what was on the paper and everything. It was all amazing. It was great.
Really amazing act. It's what this act should look like.
And they're easy on the eyes, both good-looking people.
Yes, I agree with you there. And super nice people.
They really are.
They really are sweet people. So good for them. And hopefully they will be successful in the mentalism category.
Just a great mentalism show. Yep, I agree. Yep, we'll see how they do. We wish them the luck. The next act that we had come up was an act. His name Wessie.
Wessie.
SSE.
Another Asian magician who it's another janitor act. He's a janitor, and he's got his broom and he's cleaning up, and he's listening to rock music. He just changes into this from a
janitor.
Yeah, from the janitor into a rock star.
Yeah.
And he's producing giant guitar picks, and which is really nice. So he's producing giant guitar picks like cards, but pick shape.
He was manipulating them.
Exactly, and all the while he keeps producing this broom thing, and he's playing the broom. And eventually the table turns to a guitar amp, and he produces a full-size guitar. It's clever.
Then he produced the drum set.
Exactly, the drum set. That was new. We hadn't seen that before. Produced a full drum kit, and he's pretending to play it with drumsticks that he produces. So it was a really good act, high energy, great pacing, lots of fun. That was Wessie.
And I, again, kind of reminiscent of what we saw there yesterday, in which there was someone who he was a snake charmer, rubbed the magic genie lamp, and the next thing you know, his wish was he could become a rock star. This guy was a janitor, turned into a rock star. Yeah. Kind of, I guess, like Tina Leonard as a cleaning lady. It turns into not a rock star, but she finds true love.
Exactly.
So that has a resonation, I guess, among magicians as far as the storyline.
As far as a young magician, this is something that's in character with a younger performer. If I were to do that, it would look a little silly.
Yeah. I must say that Wessie had just high energy. Oh my gosh, the way that he was dancing around the stage and jumping up and down. Of course, I'm an older guy and I'm seeing this, and I'm so envious of the way that he can rock out on this. It was amazing. Yeah, with high energy music and again more pyrotechnics.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. So then we had a 15-minute break because they were setting up for the Illusion Act, Mag Marin. I think we've learned the word mag. If then mag is in the name, it means illusionist. I'm just guessing that's what it means. Again, high energy illusion act. They started with something that looks like the Spiker illusion. Mark Callan's Spiker illusion. It produces a girl, and then
no. To begin with, he had like the roller illusion where she had the thing unrolled her and put.
Right. But it's basically the Spiker illusion, but it's got a set of ringer rollers on the front.
Ringer roller, right.
Yeah, so he rolls the poster in.
Like a Spiker illusion, but the ringer in the front. Right. Okay.
Yeah, and he produces the girl.
Yeah.
And then they did a sawing in half with someone from the audience, apparently.
A quote volunteer.
Yeah, and they put this guy in. It was a guy, and they put him in, and they saw it with a chainsaw, put in the blade, separate it, and something happens, and the legs fall off the lower half, and kind of, it just falls to the floor. And so they stop at that point and push everything off. That's the end of that one. So he's not coming back. And then they did the Assistant's Revenge, but they brought a girl up from the audience for it, which just had her whack the bars on it to show they're solid. Kind of pointless, but I guess. And he puts her in. He's inside. They get him.
The Assistant's Revenge?
Yeah,
he's in to begin with.
Yeah,
and they put some
police tape
around the thing, and then put a bag over his head.
Right. And then they do the switch, and so he's out, she's in. She comes out, and then they do the poster illusion again. They put her in the spiker, reverse the procedure, and now she's a poster again. Or sorry, he's the poster.
He's the poster. She rolls that up.
Exactly. Puts it in this bazooka and shoots it out of the audience, and he appears in the audience.
Right, on the back of the audience. And he comes to the stage, takes a bow.
Yep.
A lot of high energy. I mean, more illusions and magic, I think, packed within about that 12-minute or 8-minute act.
Well, I think it's a maximum of 10 minutes, so, you got to pack all that in.
A lot of really great stuff. That was really a good act. Again, grand illusion that they had done. So, anyhow, that was that act, and we will tell you about the next one here in just a few moments. Oh, my gosh.
Wow. Yeah.
That's all you can say about this.
Yeah.
I think this guy's got a shot.
Yeah, I think so. Francesca Della Bona, seen the act before. It's even better now. It's an act where literally he's crafting time. Time stands still. Time is slowed down. Manipulative act. He starts with basically a card, a white card in midair, and a pocket watch. And that card floats to his hand, and he begins doing, he changes from a card to a ball, to a card, to a ball, to a card. But then the ball starts floating slowly up to his hand, and then change to a card, and then it floats down to his hand. It's just back and forth. And then he begins just some of the most incredible card manipulation. Single cards, 2 cards at a time, 3 cards at a time. And these cards begin floating from hand to hand slowly. And then billiard balls. I mean, it's just this masterful act. And these visible vanishes, some in front of his chest, just a single card that floats there, and it's gone instantly. The final vanish when he has that card floating to his side, and he just looks at it, and boom, it's gone. Just perfect act. Perfect act.
It was beautiful. It was one of those things I'm sure took a lot of time to tech to get it to where it is right now. And of course, we're watching it from the camera angle, but if we were there at the theater, I'm sure it would look exactly like that. It'd be really, really good.
But he's been working on that act for years, and it really shows.
Well, as I said, I think he's got a real shot at something. Getting an award here for this.
Yep, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree.
Good act. And next up, we have a couple who performed, whether I can't pronounce or what.
Ilya and Arina. This is in general magic category. Basically, it's a parasol act done in white tie and tails, or sort of white tie and tails. I'm really conflicted about parasol acts because everybody knows parasols fold up. So
that's right.
Half the mystery is done there. So the issue then becomes the creativity of productions, the speed of productions, the quantity of productions. They sure had quantity down.
Quantity was their hallmark, I think.
Yeah. I think there was a lot of sloppy handlings and some bad steals in this. An average kind of act. Certainly not FISM level.
Unfortunately, I agree with that. I was going to say that too. But then, again, personal preference, I'm not a parasol guy. Whenever they start the first one, I figure, okay, I know where this is going. They're going to continue with just a lot of more parasols. And this one, again, they filled the whole stage. It's going to be a while before they get this cleaned up and get on to the next one.
But I mean, they had a color change of her dress in there. They at one point the stage went pretty dark because they switched from white umbrellas to red umbrellas.
That was their big thing, I guess. And then at the end there was a quick change with the jumbo umbrellas that they produced in the shape of a heart, I guess. And then when they split that, then she had changed into an elegant gown.
Yeah, exactly. So
that was it.
Yep.
That's all you can say pretty much about it.
That's all you need to say.
All right. Benoit Rosemont was the next act that was up. In obviously the mentalism category. I want to point out again, we are doing this in the dealer's hall where there is a lot of noise, and also people passing back and forth, and we're watching a television screen with a monitor, the speaker that's built into the monitor, basically, so we really can't hear that well, which is bad for a talking act. Number two, a mentalism act that is done in English with a foreign accent is hard to hear. And I noticed that to begin with, the volunteer he had on stage had a little bit of trouble understanding. It looked like what he was saying. So
and the volunteer was seated so far from him.
Yeah, I don't understand why he was 20 feet away.
I don't know. But he was well costumed. The props looked nice. It was a series of predictions ending with a very large number. Seemed to go over well. But, it was difficult to follow the action.
It looked like some sort of a book test in which he had given him a book or a magazine that when he flipped through it, it had a lot of different places, venues, or places to visit, or vacation spots or something. Anyhow, I'm not quite sure exactly what all was going on about the predictions of whether he was right or wrong or any of them, but apparently at the end when he unrolled this banner and the number apparently was right because he seemed to be getting pretty good ovation.
Yep.
And that's all we can say about that.
Exactly. Okay, we have Manola Costa y Mindanguillo. This is a two-guy double act.
Comedy.
Comedy act. Why don't you tell them what the beginning of this thing is?
In the beginning, the one guy was standing in front of a black curtain again, and he had a black outfit, some sequins on there, and was just doing a little bit of manipulation and some general magic, basically, and with a scarf and changing colors and whatnot. And then had another magician who walked out and was kind of parroting him a little bit. So it was supposed to be at least that's what I was getting out of it. Again, by watching it here in a noisy dealer hall. But it looked like that. And then he would kind of shoo him off, and then he went back over to the wings or went around the back of this little curtain and got ready, and then came back out the next time, and he had his hands on fire and his hat on fire. And then the main magician started. He produced out of some silks, produced a fire extinguisher and was putting him out. And then the guy went back behind the curtain and then started shooting more of the fire extinguisher out, and then firing silver confetti cannon over the top and some other stuff that was happening over there. And I'm not sure exactly what the whole premise was about. It just seemed that one magician was trying to be serious and the other one was kind of mimicking him. And it's like, hey, you're foolish.
And I think he was annoyed, so he took him and he threw him in a cardboard box, taped it up, and started shoving swords through it. But then he threw like a microphone stand through it and some other kind of table base through it.
And a patio umbrella or something.
Yeah, and it was basically, it's similar to the Moretti sword box, but, small square box as opposed to rectangle.
Box thing, yeah.
And he takes everything out and he opens up the box and the guy's like half dressed and he's shivering in the cold. And so he gets him out, he puts his coat over him and they hug, and that's the end of the story.
That's right, then scene. And that's pretty much it. I'm not sure exactly what the storyline was. I guess they forgave each other and were friends after all, or something. So.
Yep. So, guys, don't throw your friends in cardboard boxes and shove swords through them unless you have consent.
Unless you have consent. But it was, I'm sure, in the comedy category there.
So our next performer is Bruno Tarnici, kind of a period piece. It was on a very dark stage, which was unfortunate, made it very difficult to see. He began with a floating cane that had a lot of interesting sequences of what we could see, but it was done with a regular walking cane, not a magician's cane.
Right, he wasn't really doing a dancing cane kind of a thing. And when magician's cane, like you're saying, that was not what this was. It was, with a crook on the top kind of a thing.
Correct. And but it was more suspensions.
Yes.
With, not a floating dancing cane.
Right.
Yeah. Right, and then he had a board that had waves on it, and it had a big hole in it, which he used like Jerry Anders's Zone Zero.
It looked something to me like a slate, basically, kind of a charcoal slate of some sort, in which they had pictures of waves there on
Correct.
it. So, and then he had a little origami ship that he produced.
And he would use the ship within it, would come in and out. Eventually, he balanced it on top, which stayed there, and then he did it with a ball. And then he produced a very large ball on a string, and then a pocket watch that filled the hole, a giant pocket watch. And then he hung them all on a stand, and the giant ball on a string lit up, which I kind of thought meant it was like the moon. We just don't know the story. But interesting act, again, very stylized, nicely performed.
And that was the end of it, as far as once the moon got lit, and then he kind of attached it to some sort of a string, and I thought, well, maybe this is supposed to be perhaps a Christmas ornament or something. I wasn't sure where he was going with that or where it went, because it was kind of like the light went out, and that was the end of that act.
Yep. Yeah, nice act. Now we're going to carry on.
Yeah. We just saw an amazing act right there. Who was it?
Xiao Yang, and he's in manipulation and invention. This was the first fan act we've seen. I mean, real fans, hand fans, not part fans. And amazing stuff. There's some wonderful technology combined. He has these lights that form a semicircle in front of his chest, and that becomes a physical fan that looks exactly the same. And he begins these fan manipulations where he's producing them, banishing them, they're multiplying, changing from 1 to 2 to 3. He had some great sequences where the fans were changing colors visibly. Just an amazing act.
I thought it was interesting, too, because this is one of the first Asian acts I've seen on the competition where he actually moved. Usually they stand in the middle of the stage and don't move 1 millimeter, but he had a little stairway in which he walked down to begin with, and then, as you said, he slowly, it looked like an arch or a rainbow of cards at first, and then realized it's a fan, but it kind of came from both sides. And
there were color changes galore, and just productions vanishes in wonderful different positions and things. It was really beautiful, artistic act, very clever. He had real nice finish where the fan just keeps turning around, it becomes a full circle. And then that fan now becomes, the circle becomes back to a fan, and there's a visible vanish of that fan at the end. And it's a gorgeous act.
It was slow but well-paced and beautiful, absolutely, yeah. I don't know whether he's going to be placing, because there's a lot of really good competitors.
Particularly in the manipulation category.
Particularly, exactly. I will say it was one of the better ones we've seen today in this stage competition.
Absolutely. So we're getting ready for the pro close-up show. So are you going to stay and...
I think I am going to watch. You're going to go to the close-up show?
Yeah, I'm going to go to the pro close-up show.
I'm going to see the
later show?
The later show,
okay.
Yes.
So you can do the last...
I'm going to see some of these others over here right now.
Have that on your,
and then I have dinner, so... but I will give you my perspective rather than hearing Mark's here for the next couple. There we go. Mark, thanks again.
Thank you, Scotty.
And I think we're kind of finished on the contest here.
Yes,
really,
we're all done. We're all done. Hopefully get a chance to say hi tomorrow and bye.
That's right. For the Magic Web Podcast.
Until Abbott's Get Together.
That's right.
In just a few weeks.
It's just right around the corner. Can't get enough magic, it seems like. That's right. That was Marc DeSouza. Scotty out. one of the people who means Italy is Arturo Brachetti, and I've got him with me right now. When we were at the Museum of Magic, Don Silvio's, recently, there was a statue, it looked like a wax statue actually of you, and I've got him with me right now, Arturo Brachetti. Hello, Arturo, how are you?
Hello, everybody.
You enjoyed the convention so far this year?
Yes, very much. This is not my first convention, the first one. I did it in 1979. I was at the Gala show in Brussels because I was the first one to do quick changes in the world back then.
The first person to do quick changes, or first magician, or just
first person to do quick changes since 1922 when Fregoli died.
And how many different costumes did you change, and how short of a time?
In that time, it was my first act. I only have 6 costumes, but now I have 450.
Oh my gosh!
And in one show, I do 80 characters.
80 different characters.
Yeah.
And how long is your show? Like 90 minutes?
1 hour and a half.
Yeah,
90 minutes.
Yeah. And I remember when we were in Rimini, I thought that you were involved with that convention when we were in FISM in Rimini.
Yeah, I was not in Rimini.
Not in Rimini?
No.
Right. But in this one, you were going to be performing?
No, I'm just a guest.
You're a guest, okay.
A survivor guest.
I didn't know if you actually were going to be on the bill and helping with something. But anyhow, so you live here actually in Turin.
Yes.
And how long have you been here?
Well, I was born here, so I'm living since ever.
Yeah.
But now I live in the poor part of the royal palace.
And that's where the Shroud of Turin is?
Yes, it's just a few meters from my house.
Right there. I was going to say it's very convenient to where you are right now. But do you do a lot of magic, or mainly just doing shows, theater shows?
Yes, I do theater show. Since many years I'm almost every year the best-selling show of Italy. This year I direct Cabaret the Musical and my one-man show, and we did 220 shows this year.
I remember when you came to Houston a few years ago, in Houston, Texas.
Yeah, this was my old one-man show.
Yes, and that had to be in the 1990s or something?
No, 2003.
Was it? Okay, I was going to say it was 20 years ago at least.
Yeah.
I remember because H&R Magic Books, Richard Hatch was still there, and I think we had you out to his bookshop at the time and everything. Anyhow, so do you get back to the United States and do any shows anymore?
I really hope so, because in the States there's a wonderful public. In Italy the public can be very hard, because every Italian wants to play jokes in real life, wants every Italian feel to be an actor, so it's very, very hard to make Italian laughs, Italian be impressed by the theater.
Whereas Americans laugh at everything.
Yeah, they are much more open. They don't judge. Italians are very, very judgy.
Yeah, I guess we're more accepting over there. Arturo, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
And good seeing you here. And it's a pleasure meeting you, and good luck.
Thank you.
So, Magic Word Podcast. That was Arturo Brachetti. Scotty out. All right. Well, as it turned out, I did not get a chance to catch the last 3 contestants for the stage contest. That was Dongni and Pau Borrell, and also Mil Nathan and Max Muto. So, again, I apologize. I didn't see the show nor know what they did in the competition. If they had actually done extremely well, then we will see them in the show on Saturday, in which once after the winners have been announced, and if they are a winner, then they will be competing for the Grand Prix later in the evening. Well, then I had to get something to eat, so I did go and have dinner, and following that, then went over to the close-up show, which was emceed by David Williamson, and included Daniel Garcia, Mario Lopez, Mike Amar, Jackie Yu, Luke Germain, and David Stone. I mean, what a solid act that was. And tomorrow morning, I'll be talking with some people just kind of about this evening's show, because that wasn't the end of the day, because there's another show that will begin, actually it is beginning right now at midnight and goes until 2 o'clock this morning, that is called the Grand Gala Show, Crazy and Comedy Magic. and I would like to go to that, but I've just got to come back and get some sleep. Tomorrow is going to be the announcement of all the awards, and I want to thank all of you people who have voted for me, and we shall see how far that has taken us. And so far, it's taken me here to Turin, so we'll see tomorrow what turns out on that. But tonight's show that I'm missing, and I'm sure we'll talk with some people tomorrow about that, or I guess now it is today. It's after midnight. It's Saturday morning. The MC is Alan Choquette, and includes a big lineup: Mario Lopez, Elian Jack, Vanni De Luca, Raffaello Cordi, and Otto Wesley, Matteo Fraziona, and Bernhard Wolf. Veronin be great, and Hector Mancha. I say Veronin be great, but I mean, they're all great. And it would promise to be just a wonderful, wonderful show, I'm certain. But as I said, other things are going on. I just happened to talk again to Tim Ellis as I was leaving the theater this evening, and he said someone had done some sort of statistical analysis and realized that of all the different things that are going on simultaneous throughout the day, you can only see 25% of everything that's booked. So you can either choose this or that, and because of the timing of and overlapping of things, you can only see about 25%. Seems like a low percentage to me, but I mean, like today, for an example, we had the David Williamson lecture, Armando Lucero solo show. We had an online interview with Shin Lim. Actually, I think that was something he was broadcasting from Las Vegas, which I understand, unfortunately, was not as well attended. And I mean, like a dozen people, because there were so many other things that were going on, and because it was going to be online, as opposed to him being here personally. I may be wrong in that, but that was a number I'd heard, as well as some of the other shows that were poorly attended because people were in other things. Again, the close-up competition went from 9 until about 1 o'clock, and then David Stone workshop. We had a street magic competition that was going on. Laurent Perron had a lecture. David Kaye gave a lecture. Armando Lucero had several shows he repeated throughout the day. Paul Wilson had a session. Norbert Ferre did a Q&A. And there was also Daddy D. Ortiz, Nefesh gave a lecture. Richard Wiseman he did a one-on-one interview with Matt King. Later he did one then also with a couple other people, which we'll come to in just a minute when I get down through the schedule. Peter Marvey had a lecture. Topaz had a couple of shows that he gave. I really wanted to see that solo show, and I missed them all. He had several throughout the day. And so, again, that was just one day, and this has been a 6-day convention, just chock full of more magic than you can shake a wand at. It was just amazing. But I thought I just needed to get back and put to bed this podcast for this day 5 and let you hear kind of what happened in the contest. And again, you heard we did something just a little bit different from the standpoint that Mark and I actually were in the dealer's room and watching it on the monitor, and then after each act was over, we turned on the microphone, and there was a little bit of noise in the background, but we then discussed what it was that had happened pretty much in real time. One of the things, it's very minor, but I do want to point out, and I think this was an improvement. A few years ago, I don't remember which particular FISM it was, but we always wear armbands. And I remember a few years ago, the armbands we had were made of paper. And once you have the armband, it will let you into a lot of activities, and it depends upon what color your band is as to the shows and whether you're VIP or not. And anyhow, because it was a paper band, and you had to wear it all the time because of normal perspiration or taking a bath or a shower. I took several pictures of the deterioration of the wristband, and by the 5th day, it was falling off. I didn't have to cut it off. But this year, they have some sort of a plastic band or vinyl that wears very well, and it lasted the whole time, and I could probably wear it from now on. It's not going to fall off or anything. It is a well-made band, but obviously technology has moved on. They found some sort of a company or printer that could do this and make them. So, again, it's a minor thing, and it was a good thing. I'm just saying they have stepped it up and improved. And also, if we haven't already pointed this out, I think it's the efficiency with which this convention has been run from the side from the top of the water. You're not seeing everything that's happening under the surface and behind the curtains and everything, and I'm sure it's just a wild mess and chaotic in many ways, but what we're seeing is pretty good, but most importantly is everything is starting on time, and I mean on the dot. It seems like if something starts at 7, it starts at 7. You got the music that's cranking up about 5 minutes before, and we're hearing Lady Gaga sing a song, and everybody is sick and hopes we never hear anything by Lady Gaga for years. But anyhow, aside from that, it is just, I said aside from that just shows you about how they've had consistently kept on time and the rigidity with which they make sure that people are coming in and out. They don't let people in during the show, or if during the contests you can't come in the front or leave out the side doors or do anything to let in any light. And after they're finished during the contest, people come and go, but they don't let anybody in or out during the show, which I think is a great thing then too, because it certainly can be annoying. Anyhow, I think that's all for today on day 5. I'm just going to let it rest there, and we will pick it up again then tomorrow as we finalize the with FISM 2025 here in Turin on Saturday, day 6. But this has been the day 5 wrap. This is Scotty out.